Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a fascinating business case, a real corporate ghost story. It's a company called Opal Industries. It has 0 employees, no real operations, and yet it might just be sitting on one of the biggest energy jackpots in all of North America. So, right off the bat, here's the puzzle for you. Picture an energy company, founded back in '95, but with no staff, no heavy equipment, and almost no debt. It's not drilling, it's not mining. I mean, on the surface, it seems like it's not doing anything at all. So that begs the question, right? How on earth could a company like that be worth hundreds of millions of dollars? Well, the answer is a combination of actual buried treasure and a really, really clever business strategy. We're going to peel this onion back in 5 parts. First, we'll figure out what this sleeper company actually is. Then we'll uncover its hidden assets, look at the blueprint for its high-tech future, break down its smart pivot and strategy, and finally, ask what this all means for the future of energy. Okay, part 1. Let's get one thing straight. When you think of Opal Industries, you can't be picturing a typical energy giant. Forget the oil rigs, the fleets of trucks, the thousands of employees. That's not what this is. The magic word here is non-operating. See, Opal doesn't run any mines itself. It just owns the land. It owns the rights to the minerals underneath it in Pennsylvania. And that right there is its secret weapon. It gets to hold on to these incredibly valuable assets without the crushing overhead costs that sink a lot of traditional energy companies. Okay, so if the company's value isn't tied up in big, expensive operations, then what does it actually have? Well, this is where we get to the buried treasure. Let's dig in and see what's really down there. First up on the treasure map, the easy stuff. We're talking about almost $200 million worth of natural gas just sitting there in 2 of the richest shale formations in North America. That's a heck of a start. But then you dig a little deeper, and you hit another layer of massive value. Get this. Another $174 million worth of coal, completely untouched, just waiting underground. And here's the real kicker. They don't even have to mine all of it to make money. There's already another $90 million worth of coal that's been processed. It's just sitting on the surface, ready to be sold. And it just keeps piling on. Even the methane gas that's naturally trapped inside those coal seams is valuable. That alone adds another estimated $25 million to the pile. So let's just take a step back and look at the whole picture. When you add up all the gas, all the coal, and the land itself, you're looking at a physical asset valuation of nearly $500 million. And remember, this is for a company with no active operations. But honestly, this raw value? It's just the beginning of the story. Now sure, they could just sell off all these resources. That'd be the easy way out. But Opal's real plan is way more ambitious, and frankly, a lot more valuable. See, it's not about selling the raw ingredients. It's about turning them into futuristic, high-tech products. The big idea here is to use a process called coal gasification. So instead of just burning the coal for heat, you use a special process to convert it into something called syngas. You can think of syngas as a basic chemical building block, one that you can then turn around and use to create much more valuable things, like hydrogen fuel. And what's the potential payoff for all this high-tech chemistry? Well, this is where it gets mind-boggling. By converting just a fraction of its coal into hydrogen, Opal could be looking at a potential net profit of over $21 billion. That's not a valuation number. That's pure profit. It just completely changes the scale of this whole thing. And this chart just makes it crystal clear how smart this strategy is. If you take the exact same amount of raw coal, the profit you can make from creating hydrogen is nearly double what you'd get from just generating electricity. It's a huge signpost pointing to where the real money is. And you know, the potential doesn't even stop with hydrogen. This one single property could become a hub for a whole bunch of future industries. We're talking about mining critical rare earth elements from coal waste, creating advanced materials like graphene, and even using the captured methane to power crypto mining. Every single one of these is another potential revenue stream hiding in the exact same asset. Okay, this all sounds absolutely incredible, but let's be real. There's a multi-billion-dollar catch. Building hydrogen plants in all these high-tech facilities is insanely expensive and super risky. So how does a tiny little company even begin to pull that off? Well, this is where the strategy gets truly brilliant. Instead of trying to do it all themselves and taking on all that risk, the plan is to pivot. They want to become a royalty company. The easiest way to think about it is like being a landlord, but for minerals. Opal owns the valuable property, and then other, bigger companies pay them a royalty to do all the heavy lifting, the actual mining and production. Their own proposal says it perfectly. The goal is to earn revenue by collecting royalties, minimizing operational risk and capital expenditure. You see? It's genius. They get a steady stream of income while other companies take on the huge financial and operational risks. So let's tie this all together. Why does this matter? In a world that's so focused on clean energy and moving away from fossil fuels, why would anybody be interested in an old coal and gas property tucked away in Pennsylvania? Because, and this is the crucial point, these old assets are actually gateways to new energy. That natural gas, it becomes the key ingredient for making blue hydrogen, where the carbon emissions are captured. The land itself is the perfect spot to build all this new infrastructure. And the coal, it contains those critical rare earth elements, the stuff we need for batteries, electronics, you name it. And this creates a secure supply right here at home. And look, this isn't just some pipe dream. There's a clear step-by-step roadmap. The plan is to pivot to that royalty model first, then use that steady income to fund green tech development, and eventually prepare for a potential NASDAQ listing to bring in the big-time capital. So the story of Opal Industries really leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? It shows how resources that we usually associate with the past, things like coal and natural gas, could actually be repurposed and reimagined as essential building blocks for the energy systems of tomorrow. It's just a powerful reminder that sometimes incredible value is hidden in the most unexpected places.